Welcome to the Ashes to Rubies conversational podcast, where we talk about life and recovery. Yay! It was a good weekend. I had a good time. I forget what I did, but I feel like I had a restful weekend. I had a good weekend. Oh, I remember. We went to our friend's cottage out in Gananoque-ish area Thursday and Friday. So I feel like we've had a really long weekend. That's right.
We did work on Friday, but in the
Did we work?
later hours of the day. But
Okay.
that was nice and restful.
Nice and restful.
We like to make the most of summer here in Canada, where
Here-
summer is very short.
Very short summer. That is true. What was your favorite part about the weekend? Did you have a favorite part?
Yeah, that was great. And
What was great?
the cottage was
I don't
great.
even remember what I did on Saturday. Did we do anything fun?
We had a barbecue at a friend's place.
Oh, man.
We were invited for a
that
barbecue.
I think I invited ourselves. I think we should do that more. I think that's a thing about recovery. Addiction has isolated us for so long. And I think that we need to invite ourselves over to people's spaces more often. I enjoy that when people. I have one friend in particular who invites herself all the time to our space, and I'm like, I really have value for that. Otherwise, I wouldn't invite people. Jesus invited himself all over the place. He's like, I'm coming to your house for dinner tonight, Zacchaeus. What's on the grill? I think that's a good practice that we should be more available to. Try harder at it. Yeah. Invite yourself. Yeah. Feel free to invite yourself over to my house for coffee, for whatever you want. Sleepover. Doesn't matter to me. Not going to talk today.
Well, I was going to talk, but it was like a long time ago that I was going to respond to something that you said. So
what was it?
It just doesn't fit now.
Okay. Great. All right. We're going to
I can talk. Sometimes I don't like interrupting you. Like sometimes I don't feel like interrupting, but that's what you want. You want me to interrupt and you want me to invite myself over to your house.
For a sleepover. All right. We're going to do our meditational reading. We are July the 26th.
Yeah.
It is your turn to read. Vicky reads.
We missed a couple days.
We did miss a couple days.
The
Good morning.
simplest-
It's Karen. It's our invitee. Hi, Karen.
She was told she could invite herself anytime she
I know.
wants. And anyone
We
can.
have to give permission.
Well, the last couple weeks I have had a couple people invite themselves over.
I think that's
And
good.
I've said, yeah, come over. I'll make you a coffee. We can talk.
Yeah, but we have this culture that it's not okay to do that. And then people don't.
It has nothing to do with addiction. Like it has nothing to do with addiction, isolating.
Suburbia.
Yes, it's our culture. We're busy. People have been busy and people have all their own stuff going and we all have cell phones. And so we fully expect, that you're going to like talk. You talk on a regular basis. And so like, oh, I don't actually need to see you.
Maybe it
but
is a
really I'm
cultural
isolated.
thing, yeah.
I just keep to myself.
I worked in the Lebanese community for many years, and there was always people coming and going, and food, and like it was community was a big deal. And I don't know if anybody ever had a written invitation. But that
Karen
was cool
just
to
said
be
the
a
same
part
thing
of that.
about newfies. Newfies just invite themselves.
And they stay probably for like a week at a
They
time.
just show up.
Just show up.
I heard a story about a friend
with
who
a barrel of Screech.
a newfie friend who
And a
called her brother and said, hey, we're going to come over. We're in town. We're going to come over tomorrow night for dinner. And they made fun of her for so long. Because she called in advance. And so they were like, oh, we need to lay out the red carpet for the Queen of Ontario.
So it is a cultural thing. And I think in suburbia, we really fall into that of like, oh, I don't want to intrude. And then when you do intrude, then it's like you knock on somebody's door and they're like, oh, we're taking a nap.
And I think, anyway, so let's do our reading. We're going to do a reading. And
I was laughing at me because
give us
that
something
would
to
be
think
me
about.
Taking the nap.
The simplest and most difficult of all our slogans is the word think. And this is a recovery slogan. So
the slogan is think.
We seem to be thinking hard all the time, but it is mostly about our troubles and who's to blame for them. We can't seem to get around to thinking about what we may be doing that damages us. One word to think about is retaliation. Have I ever thought, in some form or another, I'll fix him for that. I'll pay her back for what she did. Do I seek relief from my resentment by retaliation instead of forgiveness? If a person hurts me without being aware of it and I can overlook it, my reward is an inner glow. If the alcohol hated spouse expresses his self hatred in strong language directed at me, I know it has no validity, and so I can ignore it. Today's reminder: before I take any action or speak any hot words, I will think about what provoked me into this impulse. If I can persuade myself not to act or speak, I can quietly and ignore it. Such constructive thinking is a fine ego builder, just one of many. What shall it profit a man to be right if he thereby make an enemy?
That's a beautiful reading, because it's the power of my thinking will lead to my action, and one of the promises of recovery is that I will be placed in a position of neutrality, and so I can think destructively or I can think constructively. And so when I'm thinking destructively, I'm thinking of how I'm going to pay you back, and typically for me, I deconstruct inside of me, thinking that I'm more about self-pity. I fall into that thinking of like, and then my self-pity leads to like, I need outside comfort. I need to go
Right.
out for a meal. I need to just do nothing tonight. I'll take a break from the gym because, I feel sorry for myself. So I just need me time. I need alone time. And so my thinking is typically pointed in the self-pity department, not like, I'm going to get you back.
Right.
That's nice,
yeah, I think
live with somebody.
most of us don't really go to maybe the retaliation place as in such an obvious way. But I know for me, if I feel like someone has hurt me, I'm my default would be passive aggressiveness, right? And so it would be like a silent treatment, or I'm not going to call them. They hurt me, and
Or the ghosting.
Yeah, and I'm not going to talk to them about it, right? And the problem with that is if I feel like someone's hurt me, or we've had an interaction that like is difficult for me, I don't have the courage. Typically in the past, I didn't have the courage to go to that person and say like, hey, this was like, when you said this, did you mean this? Or, like give them a chance to, and so typically my thinking takes me to like a place of isolation and a place of separation to separate me from the world around me, as opposed to keeping me, together with the world. And so I can't trust my thinking.
It's true. We can't trust our emotions. We can't trust our thinking. My thinking can either be constructive or deconstructive. And the problem centers in my mind. And that's where the enemy comes in. The enemy comes in through our thinking, and torments and harass and throws curveballs, fastballs. And next thing you know, we're overthinking and overcomplicating and causing anxiety and worry. And we go to comfort.
So how do I bring in peace then? How do I learn? And I think that's to recognize that the thoughts that I'm thinking are harmful, that the thoughts that I'm thinking, I can't feed them. If I feed those thoughts, if I feed that place. And so how do I redirect my thinking? And for me, the last 11 days, it's been with a specific and a very intentional pause. For the last year, I've been practicing meditation, like just taking a short period of time to be silent and learning how to quiet my mind. And so either like focusing on a word or breathing or nature.
You have an app. We've incorporated this little app, and so the solution is having God restore and refresh and rewrite our thinking. And so we have constructive thinking, we have God thinking. We want to know God's will, because that's what will come out in our action. So only the power of God introduced into our thinking and can actually transform us. We can do some good therapy stuff. We can do some good cognitive stuff. We can do some, replacement thinking stuff. But ultimately, God has to really direct our thinking. And so we can focus are thinking of how can I be of service to God? How can I be of service to the world around me? How can I pray for people? That usually gets me out of deconstructive thinking. Here is an amazing prayer that I want to pass on to you in closing. So this is a prayer that I've been praying every day. And maybe you can pray it with me right now. Take some time, close your hands, fold your.
We don't have to pray a specific way.
You don't have
We
to.
can just
Get on your knees.
We can just pray.
God, give me the strength and direction to do the right thing no matter what the consequences may be. Help me to consider others and not harm them in any way. Help me consult with others before I take any actions that would cause me to be sorry. Help me not repeat such behaviors. Show me the way of patience, tolerance, kindness, and love, and help me live the spiritual life. Amen. I pass that on to you, my friends. Where does your thinking take you? And how do we invite God into our thinking with community, with others? And let God help you direct your thinking. All right. Have a great Monday. Keep the peace, be a good behavior, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Nice to see you all.